Safino joining us now, and we might not have the cold that they're seeing in some parts of the country, but we sure are having cold for around here.
It was cold, yeah. We set records this morning, so we're going to have another cold night tonight, but there's a big difference between tonight and last night, and that would be the east wind, which is back, and that's actually going to help to keep temperatures up a bit. So if you had frost this morning, if you have wind tonight, you won't have frost tomorrow morning. But if the wind goes calm in your neighborhood, then expect more frost. Let's take you outside right now. There's a beautiful look at the Reserve Golf Course as the sun is just about to go down over the Coast Range. Really, really nice. Some scattered high clouds well offshore there. It's 58 degrees, but we made the 60s today, and humidity continues to be really low, only 30% with a 26-degree dew point. When you get dew point temperatures in the 20s, that means the air is really, really dry, and that's one of the reasons why we did this morning. Portland, 33, new record. Astoria, 32. Hillsboro, 28. Over in Pendleton, it was 22. In Goldendale, Washington, on the east side of Mount Adams, 20. All of those are records. Hillsboro tied. The rest of them were broken. But you know what? That 22 in Pendleton was not the coldest temperature in Oregon. That honor goes to Burns, which was cold. Burns was Burr with 8 degrees this morning. 15 Baker City, 14 in Prineville. So it was chilly everywhere except the southern Oregon coast, where Medford's low of 57 was warmer than several spots highs during the day today in Oregon. Up in Washington, also had teens up in Winthrop. Stampede Pass was 25, so was Spokane. After the snow that they had 2 nights ago, they had generally a clear sky yesterday and last night, and that helped them drop into the 20s. Now, looking at Mount Jefferson from our camera on Mount Hood looking south, you can see the marine layer, the inversion right here. Nothing that's the exact opposite of a marine layer. It's very dry air, but there's a little haze here. And if you notice, you see it moving. This is a time lapse, actually. It's just pretty subtle because that haze layer just doesn't change all that much. We made the 60s today, so we're closer to average, but still below on both sides of the day. 72 in Medford, the hot spot in Oregon. That's 76 down at Brookings as the offshore winds descending off the Siskiyou Mountains warms them up. Only 47 in LeGrand, and after being in the teens, Prineville made 52, so not a bad recovery. Now, we've got one more day of a clear sky, then this weather system out here will bring clouds in on Saturday. However, I don't think it brings rain. And when we do get rain Sunday, it's going to be really widely scattered light showers. Look at the system, just falls apart. This is Saturday afternoon. We're still dry. On Sunday, yeah, a few sprinkles make it in, mainly the Coast Range in western Washington. So for us, it's going to be a mainly dry weekend and a dry Monday as well. Now, that system comes along Tuesday for more significant rain. Let's look at the long-range pattern here. There's the weak system coming in Sunday. Not much to that one. Then on Tuesday, a stronger one here. But after that, there are indications that this system that rolls in about Thursday of next week will be much stronger and bring rain and wind to the northwest. Now, that's a long way out, so this could change. But the origin of that system is quite interesting. It stems back to this guy, which is right now a major typhoon in the western Pacific Ocean, and it is on a beeline, well, it's not actually on a curved line, towards Tokyo. Its name is Hagibis. Hagibis, the winds are down to 145. It was 160 yesterday, but this makes landfall in Japan, and if it goes over Tokyo, that's going to be a big problem. Then notice it recurves. It will be non-tropical when it makes its way across the Pacific, but oftentimes the energy from those tropical systems can impact us here on the West Coast, so we'll see if that actually develops this time. Sometimes they don't, so we'll see. 59 in Portland right now. Look how high the freezing level is. It's already over 11,000 feet. It was down below 4,000 feet a couple of days ago. All right, our forecast looks like this. Clear, breezy tonight as the east winds are back, and they'll strengthen a bit. Sunny and breezy tomorrow, but Portland makes 65 and the low 39, not 33, although Longview with no wind down to 32. So see, that's where the wind comes in. If it's windy, you'll stay warmer, but if it's not windy, you'll get frost once again. 63 on Saturday. Good weather for the Thorns game at Providence Park. On Sunday, a few widely scattered showers, but mainly dry, and then more significant rain on Tuesday. Guys?
Thank you, Matt.